Greetings everyone. My, it's been a good while since I posted something meaningful on this channel. But yeah, today is a Sunday evening and yeah, it's getting autumn and I was thinking, oh, like, why not install Amiga OS the way I want? And it might give some insights to people trying to figure out how the Amiga operating system works. But after all, it's just me now installing stuff and explaining stuff and answering question as well. And greetings, Landy and Safe Room. So yes, we have the main goal is actually to make an usable hard drive image that we can put onto an SD card. Oi, greetings, fan. Alright. I might be a bit too loud here. So this is an English stream, of course. I have to limit myself in English now. Landis is sooner or later getting an Amiga 1200, and so the goal is to install Amiga operating system here on WinUAE as an emulator, because it's way more easier to do it on rather than to do it on an Amiga. Yes. So what I've did, I set up a simple Amiga 1200 with a 30 processor. I enabled fastest possible emulation and JIT compiler, which is important, so it goes rather fast. I left most of the stuff on default that WinUAE gave me. I just click on everything, so if anyone needs to copy stuff, it's now the best time. I'm using Amiga OS 3.2.1. This is the latest version for classic Amigas, I think, or maybe 2.2 is the latest version, but 2.1 is okay. We bought that from an official retailer, and you get the CD and you get the kickstart ROMs for emulators and to burn the kickstart ROMs on your EPROMs. So I'm using this kickstart ROM as an emulator ROM. I gave 64 megabytes of RAM. We never will ever getting close to use that, but oh well. What I did is I put the install 3.2 ADF file in here, so it boots from that, from a floppy disk, and as well I put the AmigaOS 3.2 ISO file in WinUAE and auto mounted it. Oh, I also made a little hard disk folder on my computer so I can transfer files. What I haven't done yet is making an actually hard file. Well, this is basically a virtual hard disk. Let's say we want to bring this on, well, like 32 gigabyte hard SD card. So 32. Let's go 3. That's okay. Nothing more than that. You can check on the amount of hard disk RDF, so it rises up the size, but 32 gigabytes for an Amiga is pretty large actually, so it should be fine. Alright, create, and I'm putting this under my hot file images and call it Amiga OS 3.2 clean. We haven't assigned anything yet. I will give it a device. I will call it HD. Maybe I don't call it anything. We will do the rest of that later on. Oh well, anyway, actually called it DH0 automatically. Alright, okay. Okay, so we have our hard drive image, which is not formatted or anything. I didn't put any expansions in WinUAE. Also, I didn't put any graphics card in WinUAE. I want this to run on a stock Amiga 1200 with a bit RAM upgrades and stuff. So I'm not going overly wild on any expansions and hacking software and whatever there is outside. I want to make this as stable as possible. Alright, I'm just clicking through everything, so if ever anyone needs anything here, you can just copy and paste. I set up a filter. There are a few filters that you can download and a few filters are built in. It enables you to stretch the image accordingly on the emulation. No worries, safe room. This is just for reference now. This is fine. I think you already set up WinUAE perfectly, Landis. Okay. So theoretically, what it should do now is when I press OK, it should somewhere come up with a window. Oh, this is an alt. I need to reboot on that. This is an old hard drive image. We use that on our conventions. And it should hopefully put straight right into the installation drive. There we go. Alright. So you can see we have an uninitialized hard drive here. And yeah, this is the stock Amiga OS, like just without anything set up. You see you have your chip memory up here and your expansion memory up here. Amiga operating system has abilities, or this is usually the way that you have the right mouse button. Right mouse button activates the upper menu, so everything you will look for in the operating system is set up here in the upper menus. Depending on your application, this will change. So you can always find stuff on the same place. Alright, so here's the AmigaOS 3.2 CD, and we have the installed 3.2 hard drive, floppy disk image. On there's HD Toolbox, where we can actually set up our hard drive image. By default, HD Toolbox looks for the so-called SCSI device. Oh, by the way, I'm making slow here. So usually icons have some settings. You can put up command settings in the icons. So if you click on an icon and go on information, you will see that the HP toolbox is readable, executable, writable, stuff like that. That is the norm of everyone. And it has some tool types. They're called tool types here, but basically it's command lines that are put on the back. So our device is not actually called SCSI device in emulation. It's called, I think, UAE HDF. Let me check that. I think it was UAE HDF. Hard drives. No. Yeah, UAE HF. UAE HF device. That's what it's called. But yeah, I don't want to write on the original floppy drive and change this, so I will copy this over to the RAM disk. Amiga operating system has a nice little feature called RAM disk, which is basically a little volume that is mounted, and yeah, it's the RAM disk. It takes away your RAM and you can store files, and as soon as you reboot, everything is gone in here. So I just copied it over, and here I can make the changes I want. UAEHF. When I start it now, I see we have 2 hard drives. One should be the transfer hard drive, and one should be the one hard drive image I put on. I think this must be it. This is a very old application. They somehow updated it, but it's still a bit bulky to use, but okay. So we have 2 unknown stuff. I will click on this, change the drive type, and I define a new drive type here. And then we try to read out the configuration of it. And it says UAE AmigaOS 3.2 clean, looks fine, 30 gigabytes, here recommended. Okay, cool. This is our hard disk image. And this is a transfer folder, but we don't need to set them up. We will partition the drive. And you have the partition manager here. I will give 2 partitions. One partition for the workbench, so the operating system, and one partition for everything else, software and stuff. The workbench really doesn't need a lot. I will give it, let's go for 500 megabytes, so we have a bit space for extras and add-ons and later on, but really, we might never use that in our whole lifetime. Just for a system partition. I will call it HD0. So the Amiga operating system has 2 ways of naming volumes. You can give them a name, and you can give them a drive name. It's something like the drive letter on Windows, but instead of letters you can write in anything you like. And you can always go there using HD1. I don't need to put in anything else or volume name or something. So first is bootable, second is not bootable. I leave mostly everything as it is. The file system I don't change right now. It is one have to know that the Amiga operating file system called fast file system is not a journaling file system, so it's something like FAT. When you write something on the hard drive and you reboot, then it will go into an inconsistent state, and the Amiga operating system is like, oh wait, something gone wrong, I have to repair it, and an auto repair starts in the background, and this is a bit annoying. So a lot of people are using alternative file systems that they put in here. I'm not doing that right now because it would blow up everything. Yeah, it would blow up this video to an unbelievable amount. So we leave it at the standard file system, and I save the changes and press exit. So next reboot, I should have 2 partitions now that are uninitialized. So reset, and we'll see what comes up. I might have upgraded the floppy speed a little bit. It still boots on default floppy speed. And did everything right? Actually, there should be now 2 partitions. Well, something didn't work out, so let's see what it is. UAEHF, UAEHF device. There it is, partition drive, top partition, there it is. Yeah, take your time, safe room. No worries. How interesting. should be there. But they're not. Well, let's see where they are. Amiga operating system has a shell or a command line interface. HD0. Please insert program HD0. Huh? Do we have format? No. Okay. Well, this is curious now. They're set up correctly. I'm not sure what the problem is. My UIE is maybe acting up right now. But this is part of that installation process, I suppose. Figuring out what the hell is wrong now. Looks okay. I will try again. I will leave it now like WinUAE. Gives it save changes, warning, operator will destroy the partner. Yeah, also he knows it has to. Well, alright, exit. Now he saved it. A reboot is required to make your changes take effect. Continue. Not sure why the first time didn't work out. After all, those small device names are not that important. It's just a convenient thing. But now they have to pop up here. Otherwise, yeah, we will need to do it in a different way. Not sure what the problem is with WinUAE right now. Doesn't make any sense. I might actually put not an installation floppy inside here. Maybe I just put in the workbench floppy. It should boot right into the workbench 3.2, and then we have more tools available to us. So yeah, all those ADF files. Oh, okay. So it seems interesting. Didn't reward. Let's see. Early boot up menu. Let's see what's going on here. This is very odd behavior from WinUAE. But of course, it is like when you want to stream. So we have DH0. This is trans. Should be there. Yes, I would say he shall boot from DF0 and boot the workbench disk. Let's be honest, well, WinUAE is a great application, but it has its quirks. It has some really odd quirks sometimes, which I'm not sure why it's happening. For example, stuff like this here. It's like, oh my. Let's see what comes up. Nope, nothing. Alright, let's see. Why is he not booting up? RAM disk, workbench 3.2. Could it be anything wrong? How interesting. Transfer clean HDF properties. I might have not checked the full drive RDB mode. This might be necessary. We will see. It is kind of odd to me. Yeah, trends has a priority. I need to set it up again. So for everybody, whenever you ponder about what this is, Amiga operating system has a so-called riggy disk block. Windows has the what was it called? Partition table layout, GPT and MBR. Amiga has a riggy disk block. It tells the Amiga operating system what partitions there are and what file system there is. The file system is written into that disk block, so it's always accessible if you change the file system to something else. And I think something with the full RDB mode. So there we had our little problem. We didn't check the little box as usual, as it is when you have problems with your computer. A little box check. Full drive RDB mode is necessary in this case. Now he wrote or reads and writes on rigid disk block, and now we have our two little disks. Funny. All right, let's format them. We call this small one workbench 3.2. Trash can. Oh, we don't need a trash can on that. We can. Yeah, but okay, let's go. Alright, okay. I never used the trash can, but okay. Fast file system, yes, international mode or directory cache. Directory cache is usually faster. On the operating system 3.2, you have option for long file names, which is a special mode. If you have really long file names, that of course above a limit. I think just for the workbench, we should be fine. Nothing on there gets over this file name limit. Directory cache is a nice thing to have. It usually adds more buffers to it and it's much more faster. Okay, let's format this. And this one here as well. We call this work. This is an old behavior, work and workbench. I would go here for long file names. Who knows what work we do on that one. How long our file names will be. We don't need a trash can on that one. All right. Formatting large partitions usually takes away a lot of RAM and processor time. So we give it a bit of time now. On the standard AmigaOS Workbench 3.1, which was released in 1993 at the end, the Amiga wasn't really capable to handle very large disks. There was a limit on how large the disk partitions could be. That's why there were a lot of alternative file systems out there to overcome this limit, and later updates got rid of that too. On Amiga operating system 3.2 there's already that update installed in ROM, so we don't have any problems with large disks. For whatever reason we would need anything of that. 32 gigabytes is way easy to handle. It gets complicated, I think, on the stock Amigas. 500 gigabytes or something like that. Or I don't know. If the first partition is above a certain gigabyte limit, then it gets problematic. Alright, we will wait, we will wait. After all, we were here to relax a little bit. And have a tea. If you have any questions, Landy. Oh, keyboard layout can be switched quite quickly. But oh, right, you mean the one from yeah, the Amiga 1200 has a German keyboard, so that is a little bit different, yes. Yeah, you might not use a few of them, but they're all there, just on a different place. Alright, here we have it. Work and workbench. Two little partitions. That means we can start installation process. We will install it in English this time. Oh yeah, it sure will, but I'm not sure how much you will need it on those special characters, unless you want to code or something. Then it gets a bit problematic, yes. So install release 3.2. Oh, we will go for we will go for novice. It's okay, we don't need all of that. This will be no inserting hard drive. Any problem? No, we don't want to install a trans partition. We want to install it on Workbench 3.2 partition. English, and alternative we will put German and English British on there too as well. Do you want to insert glow icons? So there are a lot of icon replacements out there. I will install something called Magic VB, Magic Workbench, which comes with its own palette and icon set and stuff like that. So I'm not installing the icons now. Nope. All right. system is running from a 32-bit CPU, 6830, which may require specific CPU libraries to be installed in the libs directory of your hard disk. Please consult the menu. That's okay. We don't need that right now. Alright, so installation of the workbench is completed, and I will remove now the install floppy, and I will remove the installation CD image, and it should theoretically boot through on the hard drive now. Theoretically. I'm not sure. I think I made a little mistake on the transfer here. Let's see, properties. Ah, there we go. So, for whatever reason, WinUAE set transfer to be bootable again. But this is not a bootable hard disk. It's just a folder on my hard drive. So, no, you shouldn't be boot from that. That's why I'm always seeing that command line interface is like, oh, I can boot from that, but there's nothing to boot from. There's no... Yeah, so let's try this again. He wanted to start from transfer. Silly thing. There we go. 33,000 processor was found in the system, but the corresponding CPU library is missing. This may cause some programs to hang, or may cause a caching issue. Alternatively, include two start sequence that enables every move to remove second stuff from something as well. Include the two start sequence that enables every move to remove. Oh, that's okay. So the new operating system is pretty much aware what processor you have. I went for a 6830 right now, but I think yeah, this is a standard upgraded Amiga. The 6830 is not really necessary to have an ARM library. Okay, but here we are. We are in Workbench 3.2. Pretty plain, pretty simple. The first thing I always do on a new installed Amiga, since Amiga has the ability to put all its workbench in a window for whatever reason that was, but I will go workbench backdrop, and then it is one big thingy here. The Amiga won't remember that unless I will say snapshot. This is a quite important little thing. Snapshot all will fix the position of all icons and remembers what window, or if it's a backdrop or not. That means if you like see, okay, I opened the workbench and I have this window open here, and oh my gosh, there's a trash can now. This looks bad. I will open this here and move it here and open this here, and yeah, make it nice and tidy. This window opens always like that, and I will say snapshot window. Next time I will click on that, it will open right away in that size and that position. So it remembers that specific window to be in here, in that position, that size. This is a quite handy function. And it remembers all the icons as well. If I would say snapshot all, then it would like, okay, that icon is here, that icon is here, that icon is here, and something like that. Yeah, Windows, there's a lot of functions that are missing in Windows that I still enjoy in Amiga. So yes, this is pretty plain and yeah, pretty planned. Amiga operating system has usually the prefs folder where you can set up every single small aspect. Screen mode, stuff like that. I would like to set my screen mode right now, maybe since we have an AGI machine, not too high. 265 is not necessary right now. I want to keep it normal. 32 colors, that should be fine. We will see a difference when we install the Workbench Enhancer. The different preferences is nice to look through. We can set the quality of the color grading of the icons. I will say, oh, do we need borders around the icons, yes or no? And The maximum file name length can be set 25 or maybe 60 or 80 or 265 to 256. Whatever we like, we can limit here. Or 100 to 1 in this case. Okay. Oh yeah, we can now actually on Workbench 3.2 change the Workbench bar with everything we like to have in here. Right now it says Amiga Workbench release, here's your memory, here is your other memory, but we can announce that and set this not to bytes but to megabytes and put other stuff in there. Yeah, but for now this should be fine. To explain Amiga OS a little bit, Amiga operating system is a modular operating system, so it doesn't rely on something called a registry or something. Amiga operating system. Oh, 1 second, I'm streaming and my cat wants to get in, so this is a usual thing that happens. Alright, okay. She will get food and then she wants to get out anyway, so alright. Yeah, Amiga operating system stores a lot of stuff in system folders on the workbench, so this is where you find everything. You have system tools in here, formatting stuff like that. You have your devices in here. So if you're like, I just showed off, if you like to have data types, oh, I need to explain that to you. DOS drivers, key mask monitor, and the monitors is usually monitor drivers. Simple as that. It's a simple application that is started on startup and say, oh, I have that monitor now, and this refresh rates and stuff like that. Key maps are just for your keyboards. DOS drivers, these are devices that you can mount lists where you can say, I have a special CD-ROM that needs to be mounted, and you put that in here, where the operating system knows, okay, that is accessible under this device and that device ID and stuff like that. These are DOS drivers, usually reserved for a lot of devices that have to be mounted. Data types are something very special that I haven't seen on any other operating system. It was introduced with operating system, Amiga operating system 2.1, I think. A lot of applications use data types to read and write formats, and you can see there are already some data types in here. These are definitions how to read and write certain files, so how to read a JPEG, how to read a BMP or a GIF file. And if you're having like an image viewer or a music application that uses data types, you want to have it import a certain amount of a certain type of format that it doesn't understand. You can look up on the internet and look for a data type that you put in here, and suddenly it understands this format and imports it, and sometimes exports it as well. So data types are pretty useful to export functionality on certain applications. Most likely image viewers and other types of viewers. Yeah, tools are calculators and stuff. This is our self-explaining. I think VB Startup is actually that place, and the only place you really should have to start out things on Workbench Startup. There are already a few predefined applications in here that start up once the Workbench starts up. This is your auto start folder, basically, that was existing back in Windows time. Yeah, and storage is like everything that is unused storage for DOS drivers. This is not just like your storeroom where you can say, oh, I need to read PC drives now. Then you put on PC1 and PC0 into your normal devs DOS drivers, and suddenly Amiga operating system can read FAT file format or Mac disks or something like that. So storage is always good to look into it. Expansion is seldom used. It makes more sense on bulky big Amigas where you have expansion cards with special expansion software. So this is a little bit outdated thing. But we have cards that emulate complete operating systems like bridge bars, and then they have an expansion driver in here, so like expansions. Another nice thing about Amiga is they're having a library system. So what you know from Windows as DLL files, it's called libraries in Amiga. There's just one place where the library should be in, and this is in the system libraries, and every application uses it. So if you update the library, all the applications are updated with it. Some applications require a special library you have to acquire, or it get installed for you in here. But yes, this is like the global DLL store for functionality. C is basically everything that is as extra commands, like rename and search and stuff like that. That is from the CLI. S is basically your startup sequence. This is a little text file where everything happens in Amiga operating system startup. It's like a boot ini or boot stuff where you say, oh, if you want to start up, then look for this and say hello, welcome, and assign this stuff. So startup sequence is basically your first thing to go for if you want to have a specific thing happening at startup. Where you're like, oh, I don't like an application to run at startup, but more like I need to put something in here on startup that is starting up earlier. Yeah, it's a little ini file. So what else there's a T, which is rather seldom used for temp, and there's an L where all the handlers are. Oh yes, I'm just going through everything a little bit. You can always rewind. L is the handlers, so this thing is a handler for PC file images, so you can read FAT formatted disks and CD file system. Yeah, basically the file systems are in here on the L. Fonts are fonts, local are locals. Classes are a bit more, well, some applications require it. It's some kind of DLL thing too, but it's not really necessary to dig into that. I never really needed. Amiga operating system has a scripting language called Rex-C built in, so you can create Rex scripts with the Rex language on there to go on deeper. It's something like PowerShell. Maybe you can maybe like PowerShell, but yeah, Rex has its own little thing in a script language. It's getting quite frequently used on old Amigas where certain tasks have to be done, and Rex is used on that, right? So where else shall we have a look on? Was it on S? No, there was one specific Oh yes. The thing most people don't know. Yes. Amiga operating system works with icon files. So what you don't see, what you never will see, even if you try, there is the folder and a small file called utilities.icon, and Amiga operating system combines them. And that means you can have a little icon file that is accessible here, and the icon file says then, okay, this thing is write protected, this thing has a name, this thing, stuff like that. You can have a tool tab in there. But there are also files that don't need icons at all. They're just there, and you have to look at them. If you go to Window, Show All Files, and those files usually are not as important. If you transfer some stuff from the PC and you forget the icon files, usually you have to show all files in order to get them. But these are system files. Usually these are, well, the author of the application decided it's not necessary to see by default. Alright. Alright, okay, so this is a very basic, very basic explanation of the Amiga operating system. What we should do now is upgrade a little bit our workbench, since we have it. I will see if I can transfer Magic Workbench onto WinUIE. And therefore I will put on the transfer folder hopefully the thing I downloaded, which is Magic Workbench. Magic Workbench used to be a shareware product, but I haven't seen anyone being able to actually acquire it nowadays. So it's like a lost software. Welcome to Magic WP. Not inside your hard disk if you just unpack into your hard disk. Once unpacking, yes. Yes. Now please enter the path where Magic P should be unpacked. We're packing it into our RAM. Right. Sorry. Trans. Magic P 2.0. Please be patient. Done. Okay. So we should have in our RAM disk Magic Workbench now. Let's install this. This installation will automatically install Magic to your sys partitions. Yes. Second, this installation install 3 new fonts. Yes. Only thing you have to do is change the screen mode to a proper resolution with 8 colors. Okay, start installation. Yes. Do you have the AmigaOS chipset? Yes, I have it. Magic offers a special goodie to all AGI users. If you want to Magic it's a very special background picture. I know that background picture and no thanks. You want to have hard disk icon installed? Yes, please. Please enter the name of the desired partition. We call it work. Okay. Would you want to have a hard disk into another? Yes, we call it trans. Okay. You must have SysQuest. Do you have a SysQuest remover cartridge drive? No, I don't. Okay. Yeah, I really loved Magic WP, the look of Magic WP. If you want to install the Magic WP dock images to SysPatch, yes, I want to install that. Okay. The dock images are installed. Installing is now successfully finished. Okay. There are some settings you immediately have to do after this installation is finished. You have to change the screen preferences to appropriate resolution with at least 8 colors. Proportional resolutions are, for example, 640 by 480. Something like that. Alright. 8 color. Must like at least 8 color. Okay. Yeah, so he wants to have an interlaced. Oh, sure, we can do that. Okay. Thank you, find the okay. Alright. Have fun with Magic WP and reset your Amiga first. Oh, I really hope this was a good decision. Okay. Reset. There's a version of Magic WP out there that is always like, oh, I'm shareware. Oh, yeah. Alright, here we have Magic Workbench. Trans didn't get an appropriate icon, so I will... Ooh, okay. WinUIE is trying to de-interlace this, which is looking bad. Oof. I might change my resolution still to a lower resolution, even though they're not recommended. Screen mode. Since WinUI is not handling that very well right now, the deinterlacing. There we go. All right. So let's rearrange things a bit. I want this to have another image, if possible. There we go. Well, a nice new feature on Workbench 3.2 is that you can drag and drop icon files from one to another. So let's go the RAM disk in here. We have the work here. I might change the font. It's a bit tiny, it's a bit tiny, and we have the trans hard disk here. All right. Snapshot all. Font. So let's see. Workbench icon text. It's a bit tiny. It's itsy bitsy tiny. The Helvetica. Yeah. Sapphire. Yeah, it's not good. I will stay with the standard Amiga font here. Oh wow. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's larger. Much better for this kind of resolution, for sure. What I will do is maybe remove the. No, maybe it's okay. But I really like the colors of this one. It looks retro. It just has a warm, fuzzy feeling to it. But this is a bit too large, so I will say window, clean up name. There we go. It sorts by name now, and snapshot all. Okay. Good. So we have Magic Workbench enabled. It looks. I think it just looks nice. Sure, it changes a little bit how things are handled, but this is still running on a normal AGI chipset. It requires 8 colors Workbench, so it runs basically as well on old stock Amiga 500s, and I think they did a great job with that. Okay, so we have a standard Workbench. Whoops, I might need to put that a little bit. Oh, why not? Why not down here? Work and Workbench. Trends. Yeah, rearranging stuff on your Workbench can be a bit annoying. Amiga operating system has no snap to grid, so it's pixel perfect placement. You can say clean up by column, then it will do like this, or clean up by name. Works as well. But yeah, no snapshot. Ah, okay. Yeah, well, what you can do here is clean up. It's called clean up by. So it's column name, date, size, or type, and it sorts all of that icons that you have in your window by this. Nice and tidy. Alright, so work right now has nothing. We have no software installed or anything, not even remotely something that we can work with. We have just a plain Workbench and we have nothing in there, which is not favorable, I suppose. But we have a running Workbench for now. With our trends icon, with our trends folder, we can sure install a lot of nifty software. And we have an icon collection. Oh, okay. Oh wait, on Amiga OS 3.2 we have something called auto-arrange icons. Oh, this is a new application. Cool. Auto-arrange icons. Huh. Oh, okay. So I have to correct myself. This is something new on Workbench 3.2. Huh. But I think we leave it for now like this. So, I remember we have a little, yeah. First of all, we need something to unpack. And it seems that even Amiga Operating System 2 does not come with an unpacker right now. Which surprises me. I was sure there was an unpacker for at least LHA files. One thing always to remember on Amiga operating system is that file extensions does not matter. You can leave them out completely. Amiga operating systems and applications are made that they don't care about file extensions at all. They will read the first bytes of a file and then determine what kind of file it is. Yes, right. I haven't really dug deep into Amiga Operating System 4. Maybe we have a good unpacker now. Icon editor. Oh yeah, multi-view. Multi-view is actually the image viewer application that uses data types. So everything that you have a data type for, multi-view can play or view it. Oh, 1 second, my cat. Alright, but I really like that now. Let's see if we have finally unpacker. The Amiga operating system update cycles was a bit strange over the past. So if you're encountering that I'm using Amiga operating system 3.2 and you look up for Amiga operating systems and then you suddenly find there's an operating system called 5.3 and an operating system called 9.3, which came a decade earlier, then it gets a little bit complicated on understanding why this is. Actually, yeah, the Amiga operating system 3.5 and 3.9, 3.9, that's that way around, were legitimate official updates, but never burned into a EEPROM. They were never delivered to be part of an EEPROM file. What they did, they installed new software, new drivers and everything, and patched the Amiga operating system into the RAM. So one reboot was required and the ROM was upgraded in the RAM, updating it with new functions. So the most updated version of the Amiga operating system still is operating system 3.9. Which I haven't installed here. I have installed 3.2. 3.2 later released last year actually, or a year before that, was aiming for just small fixes and small improvements for everyone to enjoy without having a whole CD into it and yeah, right, not to have bugginess. It was meant to be small and tidy and having everything fit into a ROM file that you can just boot from. but operating system 3.5 and 3.9 offers much more functionality on data types and updated software about hard disk setups and everything. So, but it loses a bit of compatibility with old applications then. I think 3.2 is right in the middle ground where it doesn't lose compatibility with old applications. All right, so I rumbled away. I wanted to, what do I want to do? I wanted to actually put some software in here. We have no software, and one of my favorite software actually is called Personal Paint, P-Paint, and Deluxe Paint. So we make enough of graphics. There we go. So that means I have to acquire those two. I think I have them. Personal Paint is available in something called the AmiNet. This is basically your first place to go. AmiNet looks like this, aminet.net, and it is the global software, the global Amiga software archive. Ever since they started as CD releases back in the 90s, and yeah, they have basically free and share software, everything in there. People upload there all the time. And I'm looking for Personal Paint. I think they made it free a while ago. P-Paint, okay. P-Paint 7. Portuguese. New filters, check local. Let's go for P-Paint. P-Paint, whoops. P-Paint. Oh yeah, and we need an LHA unpacker. I haven't seen any unpacker right now. I was pretty sure. Amiga OS 3.2 unpacker. Unpack identified item. Help to extract LHAs. Why? Yeah, right. Last time I installed this, it worked flawlessly. But hey, I'm pretty new to Amiga operating system 3.2 as well.
Use unpacker and default icons.
Yeah, unpacker was basically, yeah, magic. Oh boy. There we go. So yeah, we need some special applications for unpacking stuff. For whatever reason, I'm kind of still spoiled by Amiga operating system 3.9 and 4.2 and 4.1, where everything just worked out of the box. But yeah, this is a very slim and still classic Amiga operating system where it has basically just a basic functionality, but unpacking stuff and stuff was never implemented in there. Maybe it was never meant to be implemented in there. Oh, who knows, right? But I remember, well, that there were some extras that you could install. But okay, LHA basically is the file format for Amiga. If you don't have LHA, then things get a bit problematic. And we have an unpacker. Wow, Firefox really don't like that stuff. So yeah, that's the very first thing we have to do. Get this to run. It's a bit bulky if you think of that. You expect an Amiga and an operating system to have that built in. And then I agree, if that wouldn't have worked with OS 3.9 or something, then yeah, I would have been quite unsatisfied. But yeah, okay, I understand kind of why that didn't include that. LHA. Oh. LHA readme. We will use LHA 68K, that's okay. So that's why I told you before, things are a bit strange sometimes. So we have this little application called LHA, which is basically a command line application. It will show command line when you put it as like a file application, and like, hey, if you start me with that stuff and we start me with that stuff, I will do this and that. A lot of apps look for stuff like that in the C folder, where all of those nifty little commands are in. So I just put it in there. And that means also I have to unpack now, very first time, our unpacker. That this is what you was actually talking about. We have to unpack the unpacker, which is crazy to think about, but oh boy, we just do it once we have it set up. Things will go better. That means, but we have to open a command line interface. I just call in CLI. It was real, yes. This is still basically functionality of 1993, just with a few tiny updates about compatibility and stuff. But yeah, 1993 it was actually real. Yeah. All of this LHA stuff was introduced with the internet, most likely to save bandwidth. With built-in board systems and stuff like that, and yeah. What is our thing for LHA to unpack it? Hey, module? Oh, you've never heard of Amiga operating system. Woohoo! This is yeah, let's say Amiga operating system was an operating system or is an operating system for Amiga computers. And this is what I'm doing right now. I'm using emulator to set it up from ground. Like, this is how I would set it up in 1993, something like that. Just I'm doing it inside an emulator. Yes. And we can then copy all of that, what I have done here on emulator, to the real Amiga. So I can put all the software in here, quite easily download it from the internet and set up everything as one file, one hard file, and then I can just put it on a real Amiga and enjoy it. And it's meant for, actually, in the stream I'm doing here is for people trying to understand what Amiga operating system is and how it works, what quirks it had back in 1993. And just a little bit of retrospective, also to have a Chillout stream. Alright, I just unpacked this. This is Amiga operating system 3.2. Still in some kind of way, it operates in a way it operated in the early 90s, and there are much better updates for Amiga operating system. 4.2 is the latest one, and 3.9 was the latest one for old computers, and they have all the functionality. What I'm doing here, try to put it in already included. But I really want to maintain a lot of compatibility to old software, and all the new Amiga operating systems somehow lose in a way with a few applications the compatibility. So I'm going through this length now to actually achieve this and make a nice little thing that everyone can use on this Amiga maybe later on. And say, oh, if it boots right up, it has a nice workbench screen, and I can just work with that. You know, it's not overly complicated, and it's not hasn't tons of stuff. Okay, so I have the application called Unpacker now, which will unpack my files that I need. So I will create a new folder and call it Tools. And in here I call a new folder called Unpackers. This won't most likely be the last unpacker I unpacked, but yeah. Okay. So I need to manually edit this. Oh, this is not an easy software. Unpacker config. Okay. It needs a config. So this application doesn't even have an installation application, which is super odd. Most of the applications on Amiga operating system has some installation application, but okay. This gives me a little bit time to look for a specific folder right now. Then I think it's I'm a bit embarrassed because that folder is always used. I use that folder only through a shortcut all of my life. I never been really browsing there by hand, so I have to find it now by hand because I totally forgot where it was located on. I think it was on the S folder, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So the thing is, Amiga has one. So I told about that Amiga operating system doesn't have something bulky like the registry, where you have thousands of sub registry entries and all of that crazy stuff. Amiga operating system using files for that, and only in basically one folder all of the configurations are stored. So and it is up for the application itself how it stores their configuration file there. If they create a subfolder, this is pretty free. It's called env, like environment. And then there you have all kinds of small stuff. There are two places to be the env. Yeah, there we have it. Okay. On Amiga, you have the ability to test out configurations. So, like, if I had to say, okay, I want to test out another screen mode or another locale, but I don't want to stick with it. I want it to be gone after I reboot. Amiga always has that little use button, but that means it writes the configuration to a path called env, and that env is located in the RAM disk. So next time you reboot, that folder is empty and it starts fresh. But if we want to have something that stays, especially it stays, you have the env archive. That is where your configuration is, that always is there and always stays there. That is written when you press save, basically on most of the applications. If you want something, it is located in the prefs folder, env archive. And you always see here some prefs file for the default icons. MagicWP has a little configuration file in here and stuff like that. And since Unpacker doesn't have an installation script, I will just put the configuration in here, and it should be fine. So, all right. Okay. So yes, this is what I really liked about Amiga operating system, and I never changed this system because it doesn't result in a huge bulky thing. So I have my little unpack application. Clicking it will ask right away, do you want to unpack an LHA or a zip file? All right, what I want to do now is basically unpack my icon files. We have some disk icons I would love to have. Select the destination. Yeah, let's go on to the RAM file and see what happens. The RAM disk always, like when I reboot, this stuff is gone, so I can clutter it whatever I like. If I have enough RAM, I clutter it with all kinds of stuff. Yeah, those are good. Those are nice. If I don't have it already, but I doubt it. I will store this for me to find. Maybe in the presets folder. Yeah. Presets has some kind of presets from pointers and backdrops and stuff like that, and you can put their stuff, and so it's for me now to find it. Like if I want some other icons, I will put them in here. And like, okay, I want my work to have another icon for whatever reason. Let's see what disk icons do we have here. Oh, okay. Ooh, erotic. Okay. Well, it's not maybe not that nice. Tiny meter prefs minor. Precious dark items. All kinds of different items for different tools. These are just files. These are not tools right now. Just icon files that I can assign to whatever I like to, and say, all right. And I like to have a consistent look. But I don't see anything right now that catches my eye. Also not on a disk icon, so we might need something else there. But anyway, I wanted to say what I was actually going for. I wanted to find an application called Personal Paint, because I really like that thing as a pixel application. And let's see if we have P-Paint here as free. Okay, optimized version of P-Paint. Portuguese free update from P-Paint. There's an update for P-Paint even from 1999. So this is a very, very huge archive, right? Personal Paint. This update is transforming the Personal Paint program file to the corresponding version. Well, it seems I don't find it easily, so I will have to find my real application for it and install it. But this is the point of the stream, like installing software right now here. Imagine having to put everything on floppy disks now and try to install that on real Amiga, and the hassle I remember to get stuff onto the Amiga back in the days without all this emulation nifty stuff. That was an adventure. It was really an adventure. But I have a quite good software collection here that I will utilize now. Just working quickly on my different monitor and see if I can find Personal Paint as an installation disk. Amiga. Applications. Personal. I want to have Personal Paint to be like in English now, because yeah, I'm doing international stream, and yes, we have the program disk and art and installation disk there. Oh, Personal Paint. I have a huge list of applications. You wouldn't believe me how much disk files I have here in my storeroom. So everything I install, I have the original file for. So I own that software, but it's just easier to boot it now from an already ripped hard drive image. So instead of that, specify where you want P-Paint to be installed. I want it in my graphics folder. Program files, color fonts. We already have a JPEG data type. That's why I told you about the data types before. Pictures, animations, okay. Yeah, this time I chose English. Yep. I might need to change disk now. If WinUAE lets me. WinUAE is a very strange emulator sometimes, especially when it comes to network, like network drives or something. It always seems to have some kind of problem, so I'm pulling that from my NAS right now. Ah, there we go. This should be the one. Oh yeah. A nice little update they did with Amiga operating system 3.2 is this little requester. This one is actually like right now, please insert the volume ppaint2 in any drive, like please insert any volume that is labeled ppaint2. It could be anything, just as long as it has a volume label name ppaint2, it's fine. But I can say, hold on a second, let me assign that. When you say, okay, I don't have that floppy drive or that CD-ROM called ppaint2, but I have the content of that in a little folder, and I can say assign and say, yeah, ppaint2 is now this folder, so you can make virtual folders or virtual disks basically out of this. But I have the floppy drive here. This was possible in older versions too, but you have to do it manually in the command line interface. So this is a nice little update on 3.2 that they included that, which I pretty much agree on. Oh, come on, WinUAE. Sometimes it's good to have two floppy drives in here. And WinUAE actually can do that. So I just enabled a second floppy drive in WinUAE, and hopefully it will come up without me to restart. Yeah, WinUAE, especially if your Amiga operating system is super hacked and has all kinds of crazy stuff, modifying the ROM files and hacking it into the memory and shifting up memory registers, like a lot of yeah, like that Coffin OS that I showed you. Then WinUAE gets a little bit frustrated. Let's call it this way. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, okay. Add ppaint assign to user startup. Yes. There are two startup sequences in the S directory. One is called startup sequence, one is called user startup. User startup is basically what every program should use to put its little nifty thing to it. So in this case, it's like, do you want to mount a virtual volume called ppaint? So I know where to find my stuff. And I say, oh, sure, why not? And then, okay, installation is now completed. With the next reboot, I should be able to actually enjoy ppaint. Oh, I make my music a bit more and reset. I know, I need to disable this. Oops. Alright, so I shouldn't, the reboot wasn't necessary, but since he modified the user startup sequence, I was like, alright, okay, let's go for one just to be sure. So we have ppaint here, and let's give this a shot. Ground to Personal Paint. Oh, this brings up memories. So this is a Pixel application. Let's see. Dithering, language, screen, graphics, smooth pixels, grab pictures, transparencies, color. You can. It looks like Microsoft Paint, but it has quite a lot of nice features. We changed a little bit our color palette here. There we go. So I enjoyed a lot just painting around with this and get blur and dither and darken. You could make GIF animations out of it. Emboss. There's a lot of filters in here. A little bit like an early Photoshop, but on pixel way. Right, so this will come in super handy. I did a lot of animations back then, and I made a lot of textures. Since we are still in 68K mode, this works. If you have this, so you can basically work together here and like no. This was the thing that blew my mind back in the days. Where like, all right, you just. Yeah, you just could. This is a full screen application, and this is a full screen application, and yeah, the Amiga was just like, oh sure, I'm no problem. Let me do that for you, right? As soon as you have a graphics card cannot do this little thing. This was reintroduced in Amiga operating system 4. Then they coded that in, but as soon as you have a graphics card on a classic Amigas. This is not possible anymore. So yeah, this is just a thing if you use the chipsets, the internal chipset of the Amiga. The Blitter actually is doing this. So Personal Paint, there it is. I really had to have that. This is also a very important thing. Yep. Okay, Personal Paint. Yeah, that's right. Actually, let me test. No, so Amiga doesn't have any click to front enabled by default, by the way. So if you're here, you can do whatever you like. You have to use this little tool, but I think click to front now is part of an operating system called commodities. Yeah, there it is. So commodities are little expansions to the operating system that you can just put in the workbench startup up and say, oh, I really like click to front. Where you double click, not single click, but double click something to bring it to front. So I put that right in my workbench startup here. So it goes on. Mouse blinker, we don't need that. Okay. Auto point is also, I never used auto point. Auto point brings every window below your mouse pointer on top. But the double click to front is something I really learned to love. So this goes in right there. Okay, we have a nice workbench now. We have this Coffin OS, right? Coffin OS has a lot of pre-installed software, if I remember, but they have also some very ugly icons that might not work at all here, but we can change that. But Coffin OS has a nice library of software that we can already utilize, and maybe I can just put in this later on and update. But yes, from here I think I will soon stop my stream. I showed you around a little bit on Amiga operating system. This needs to be for sure now upgraded step by step. Audio software, software for ray tracing. I just found when I dug through all my software that I had that we have a lot of ray tracing software already in here that I never really started to use. It's called Aladdin. Oh, actually Aladdin is like from 1993, 1994. Aladdin 4G. Never used that before, but I always heard so much about that. Yeah, I have a really huge software archive here that needs to be step by step installed for making a productive Amiga environment. Yes, Cinema 4D totally will go on this year. It's like a necessity. There might be even a nice file launcher. Oh yes, a nice file launcher. I'm pondering if I put Directory Opus 5 onto this, which is a modern version of Directory Opus. It completely replaces the Amiga operating system things here, but I'm not sure about that. I don't know, like right now I like the way it is. Right. Yep. Okay. Okay, so this is basic installation of Amiga operating system in WinUAE with a little problems that could be solved. Maybe next time I stream this, we will install some good software. Tons of games, of course, tons of games. And see if we can make a nice little workbench. I might get an external CD drive again to read all of my old Amiga art, Amiga CD images. There are so many hidden gems on there. This is amazing. So yes, stay tuned on that. Yeah, thank you for watching. We will meet again pretty soon and expand on this, depending on the wishes coming up now. Hope this was a good lesson, and if anything comes up, just give me a shout out. Alright, have a great night and see you soon. Bye bye.